Hi, welcome to section 2. I'm here. This is going to be muscles of the chest and the back and the shoulders and the arms, sometimes, and the abdomen. So sometimes we can refer to this whole region, the chest and the abdomen, as the trunk. It's not really the best anatomical terminology, but or the torso, trunk or torso. Okay, and that accounts for the posterior section of it as well. This is going to be a long one, so feel free to take pauses and breaks and so on, because there's quite a few muscles here. So is our biggest section. Okay, so I'll start with the pectoralis major and the pectoralis minor. The pectoralis major is a superficial muscle, meaning it's on top or on the surface. The minor is a deeper muscle, and it is not on my muscle model here. If you look on your diagram, one side of the chest area is probably dissected away, and you can see the pectoralis minor underneath. Okay, so we'll start with the pectoralis major, and you might look on your list. I'm just going to turn it to me. I might be fiddling with my camera a lot. Woo, short warriors, yay. Okay, and I might be moving around a little bit, so sorry. So if you look at your list, it says that it adducts the arm and it rotates the arm medially. So, okay, well, adduct. Adduct means to move towards the midline, and rotating medially would also be towards the center. So your pectoralis major will adduct your arms and rotate medially like this. So give yourself a hug, or close that car door, right? Those motions. Or swimming, maybe you're a swimmer and you're using your pectoralis major, okay? That's your pectoralis major muscle. Or maybe you're doing bench presses, you're using your pec major. Now your pec minor says that it depresses and protracts the scapula. So don't get intimidated by that word scapula. The scapula, of course, is your shoulder blade. So if it's relating, if it ever says scapula, it's really talking about the shoulder. It's movement of the shoulder. So if it depresses and protracts the scapula, so depression is bringing a body part down, and protracting is moving a body part forward. So it's going to depress your shoulders and rotate them forward like this, move them forward. Okay, of course, you don't just do this every day, but you might be pushing something out of your way, or it might assist with closing that car door, or so on. It might assist with giving somebody a hug. Okay. Next one on the list is the serratus anterior muscle. This muscle is just below I like to say, just below the armpit, and it has a serrated appearance to it, like a serrated edge of a knife, and it's underneath the muscles here, so it's a little deeper, so you have to kind of dissect away and pull it apart. You can see it here a little bit. You can really see it here very nicely. Okay, and so the serratus anterior's job, if you look at your action, says to protract and rotate the scapula. Okay, so again, protraction is moving it forward, and rotating it is moving it along the axes. So just go ahead and do a couple of those shoulder rotations, and that's your serratus anterior. Now, what the heck would that be in real life? Again, this might be pushing something like a door closed, or maybe pushing something out of your way, and then you might use your deltoids to abduct. I'll get there in a second. Or you might be doing push-ups, and that might be that muscle. The next one is your deltoid. So your deltoid is your abductor. Abductor is moving away from midline. This is this big, beautiful shoulder muscle here, your delts. Okay, there's a couple of parts to the deltoid. We're just learning it as a whole muscle. And it's an abductor, so that means moving away from midline. So it's your big abductor, like this. And if you work out at the gym and you do deltoid raises, you're doing a lot of these. So that is your deltoids, abductor, which is going to be opposite to those adductors of your pecs. Oh, agonistic and antagonistic pairs. Remember, you have to know that. Next on your list is your trapezius. So this is a back muscle here. Nice big back muscle. And if you look at your action, it says the trapezius elevates, rotates, and retracts the scapula or shoulder. So elevating means up. Rotating is around the axes at that joint, And retracting is moving backwards. So just go ahead and move your shoulders back and around like this. Elevate. Oh, that feels so good. Like that. Okay. So that's your trap muscle. And of course, what would that be in real life? Well, maybe you're doing a wind up to throw a baseball. I know I'm not very athletic. Or maybe you're throwing up your tennis ball and you're doing a serve, right? Like that. Or you're playing ping pong. Okay, I digress a little bit. The levator scapulae, literal translation, it elevates the scapula, so it helps to elevate your shoulder. And you might have noticed already that a lot of these muscles, they kind of do the same thing. Remember in the vocab, you have that word synergist. So muscles work in synergy. They work together to make a movement happen. So the levator scapulae is underneath the trapezius, so this has to be dissected away for you to see it, and it elevates your shoulders. You can do one, the other, or you can do both. Okay, so it's going to help with a lot of different movements that you do in your daily life. The latissimus dorsi, this is a big back muscle here on both sides of the body. And it's got a whole bunch of things it does. So let's kind of think about this. So it extends your arms. It rotates your arms medially. It depresses and retracts the shoulder. So that's a lot. So if you extend your arms, do it with me. Woo! Hooray! Extend your arms and then rotate your arms medially. That's towards the middle. And then depress and retract your scapula. And that is your latissimus dorsi. So if you've ever done lat pull downs, with that bar at the gym, there you go, you're working on your lats. Okay? And we probably don't walk around and do this all the time, right? But we certainly are extending our arms and we're pulling things off a shelf. Oh, I got to get that book way up on top of the shelf. You're using your lats to bring that book down. The next three muscles, most of you guys are familiar with some of them. They're the arm and the forearm. So you've got your bicep, which is that anterior muscle, the brachioradialis. If you think about that word, it stands for the brachial region and the radius, which is the bone. So it's a muscle that runs sort of from the proximal radius down to the distal radius here. So it's just this big forearm muscle. Of course, mine is not very muscular because I'm an old lady, but there you go. That's your brachioradialis. So bicep, brachioradialis, and then of course, posteriorly, you have the tricep muscle here. And that's posterior. That's pretty flabby too, because I'm an old lady, so look at that. Okay, so biceps brachii, of course we know, most of us know, it flexes your arm at the elbow, but the other thing that it does is it supinates and rotates your forearm and hand medially. So what does that mean? Okay, so to supinate, again, it's going to be palms upward. So your bicep flexes and supinates your arm. And so if you do bicep curls, you might do supinating curls like this. You're really isolating your bicep. The brachioradialis is a synergist. It helps that bicep do that flexing at the elbow. So it works in conjunction with it. Tricep, that's going to extend your arm at the elbow. So right now my triceps are extending my arms at the elbow. That is antagonistic, of course, to your bicep, one of the most classic agonist and antagonistic pairs. Okay, the last section. It's like, oh my God, there's 4 muscles. Well, guess what? They all do the same exact thing. But there's one little outlier, and I'll explain that in just a moment. So these are all your abdominal muscles. And kind of how it works is you have these obliques on the side. So the obliques are these side diagonal muscles here. Okay. And there's an external oblique, and then you have to snip it away, and underneath it's an internal oblique. Then if you snip that away, underneath, running across the abdomen transversely, is the transverse abdominis. And then you've got your 6-pack abs, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 6-pack abs, rectus abdominis. All of these All of these muscles compress and tense the abdomen. So you might be like, what does that mean? Okay, everybody suck in your stomach, suck it in, hold it, hold it. All of those muscles are tensing and compressing your abdomen, okay? They all work to do that. The obliques and the rectus abdominis and the transverse abdominis also help you twist, especially your obliques, twisting your abdomen. So they all do that. They tense, they compress, and they twist. Last but not least, the rectus abdominis is the one outlier. It does all of those things, tenses, twists, compresses. It also flexes your vertebral column. So if you just bend down like that, or if you're doing your crunches, that is your rectus abdominis. Okay, so that's that. Thank you guys for listening. Let's see if I can turn it off. Bye.